Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Studio Nora Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nora, and I'm the face behind Studio Nora. And if you've been to the studio before, welcome back. It's great to see you again, and let's dive into it. So for today, I have one finished object for you and 2 bonus finished objects, I guess. A little bit about YouTube and Instagram and social media. I have some works in progress, and I've been, well, not diving into, but I've been dipping my toes into some research on, knitting history and yarn and wool and all that fun stuff. So before we dive into that, I am wearing one of my most favorite and successful makes so far in my sewing journey, which has been going on for about 3 years, I guess. I am wearing the Yanta overalls, and I will pop in like a full screen bit because you can't really see it right now, but I can show you this fun lining that it's got. It's got all these animal faces, and in the midst of the pandemic I made a lot of masks, and I also had a mask with this lining fabric because it's faces, and then at least the kids in my classes, they could see many faces, if not my own. This outfit, I often wear this outfit with just like this. So with this is a sea salt knit shirt, and my boots, and sometimes like an extra layer for warmth. But this outfit makes me feel, I think, like myself. The vibe that I associate with it is adventurous hobbit, but you could also call it super happy toddler, I guess. But because the overalls or dungarees really, they do not constrict anything. If I have a lot of bloating, I don't know if you have that, but my stomach changes sizes throughout the day, and this just, it's so comfortable. And I don't know, I think it goes well with my eye color. My eyes turn up really green when I'm wearing this. So I hope that you have an outfit that makes you feel like an adventurous hobbit. If so, please tell me what it is, because I think I need more of these outfits that make me feel like an adventurous hobbit in my wardrobe. I hope that you have a nice beverage with you, or some knitting, or a project, or I don't know, that you're painting minis. Don't forget to hydrate. I forget that when I'm not working, because at work I drink a lot of decaf coffee, and I can quickly grab one while teaching or before or after class. But when I'm at home, I often forget to drink, because I don't drink coffee at home really, except for in the mornings. But right now I have a milky oolong tea, which is it's half fermented, and even though there's no milk in it, it almost tastes like a milky, it's in the name, a milky oolong. So it's really nice. Okay, so my first finished object is one that you have seen before as a work in progress, and it's the diaper bag. So my friend, she gave birth to a happy and healthy baby boy last week, and tomorrow I'm going by to hand over the goods, the diaper bag, and I thought that I'd just shoot a whole episode before I hand it off, because I won't upload the episode before tomorrow anyways, so that way it stays a surprise for my friend, and I can share it with you guys. So let me get it. So this is the bag. It's called the Explorer Tote by NoodleHead, and it has a crossbody bag situation that you can, here we go, clip off. Hello. Yes, it's a clippy clip. And then the back has one big pocket and two smaller ones. And then the front has a magnet and a little phone pocket, I guess. And then there's a zip that opens all the way. And then this is the inside. Ooh, let's not break anything today. So the inside, let me start with the outside. The outside is fully made of cotton. The bottom is like oiled cotton or waxed dry skin cotton. The one that's non-sticky. And then canvas, which is cotton, and then the webbing is also cotton. But the inside is a mix of linen and recycled polyester, and usually I prefer not to use polyester even if it's recycled, because when you wash synthetics they give off microplastics that eventually make their way to somewhere they shouldn't be. But because this bag probably won't be washed at all or that much, I mean, it is a diaper bag, so there might be a poo incident, but it's not going to be washed every week. So I think the benefits of the polyester giving it a lot of strength and durability really weigh up to the fact that it's polyester. And it's not going to be washed that much. So yeah, I'm very happy with it, with the finished result. If there's one thing I would change, of course, there's many things that went wrong and there's all kinds of ugly mistakes, but I don't think the untrained eye, or even just any eye but mine, might be able to see them. But the only thing that I would change if I were to make this bag again, and I probably will, because hopefully somewhere in the future I get to make myself a diaper bag. I'm not pregnant, but is that the internal pockets, there is two big pockets, but I think if I were to make them again, I would order your thoughts, Norm. So right now, the inner pocket is just a rectangle of fabric, and you sew it down and you sew a line in the middle, but that means that they always fall open like this. And I think if I were to sew it again, I don't know how you call these pockets, but the ones that have more space at the bottom, an envelope pocket, diaper, no, it's not a diaper pocket, but one where there's more space at the bottom, and then maybe a magnet to keep it closed or something. But I still think they will be very useful to stuff, stuff in. So yeah, that's my first finished object, and pretty proud, I have to say. It's the first time making a bag like this, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, very excited with it. The second and third finished objects come with a little bit of vulnerability, I guess. So there's a lot of new subscribers, which is great. But I've also noticed that comes with some maybe anxiety or I'm not quite sure. I feel a bit vulnerable, and so you might be able to notice that my head is a bit all over the place concerning this topic, because I'm not yet sure what I feel, but what it comes down to is that there's a lot of new subscribers, which is great. It's lovely to have you. And there was a lot of engagement with the channel over the last few weeks, which is great. But then suddenly it kind of like dropped off, went away, and there were some people who unsubscribed. And because, you know, I checked it every day. Like there's this YouTube Studio app that gives you like all the analytics and stuff. And that's also where the reactions are and the comments. So I want to, you know, reply to all the comments. So I check that app regularly. But then you can also see like, oh, somebody unsubscribed or engagement went way down. And that made me think like I was doing something wrong, or maybe I should, you know, do something different, or wear makeup, or be like other people on YouTube. And usually I'm not that concerned about being like other people because I'm perfectly fine the way I am. And usually I really believe that. But yeah, so I don't know, putting yourself out on the internet is weird. Like I stand in front of a full classroom all day and that's fine. But these kids, they have to sit in that class, right? So they're forced. And you guys are not there, hopefully, without your own consent. So, yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot of mixed feelings. And, like, I love that people watch my stuff. But then suddenly these numbers, they get so much meaning. And I'm losing numbers or gaining numbers, and it was just a bit, I don't know, weird, too much. So going forward, I want to consciously try to like not refresh the YouTube Studio app like it is Instagram. I also don't want to do that with Instagram, but social media is very addictive and all that kind of jazz. But conclusion, I'm going to check the app less frequently, which might mean that it takes a little bit longer for me to reply to your comments, which I love replying to, but I might just make it into something that I do in the computer instead of on my phone, which just, you know, gives me a little bit less anxiety. Also, chances of me wearing makeup are small because my skin and my eczema are quite difficult. Like when my eczema is really bad or my skin is really bad, I can't wear makeup because it literally hurts. And then when my skin is good, I don't really feel like wearing makeup. And also you have to take it off at night, and I already have to do so many medical things with my skin that adding like a task of taking off your makeup doesn't really vibe with me. I think the last time I wore makeup was when, I don't know, 2 years ago, the fact that I can't remember, it's probably when I got legally partnered with my husband partner, that's when I wore makeup last. So yeah, it's been a while. But all that to say, if you're still here, thank you. All that to say that I've come to the conclusion that this is my space on the internet and I'm the one who controls it. And if I want to share things about whatever, I get to, right? So in that vein, I just finished 2 miniatures, like minis, painted minis, for the game I play, Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm pretty proud of them. So I wanted to show them to you because I get to. So first off is this tiny little dwarf. So this is the little dude, and he has like little gold ribbons in his mustache beard situation, and yeah, I think it's quite fun. He's tiny, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. He's one of the non-player characters in a campaign that I play with my husband and his friends, and I think it will add to the imagination to have like a little mini of him. For those interested, we're playing Lost Mines of Vandelver, and it's really fun. I'm the DM. And then I also painted this little bugbear with like a little spare, and he has like little tunic on, which I painted like blue. As you know, I do love blue. I even have all my rings blue today. This actually, if you have seen episode 2, in which I showed off my fabulous grandmother, this blue ring is hers. And it's one of my favorite rings. She cannot wear rings anymore because her arthritis is too bad in her fingers, so she can't fit rings on anymore. And she gifted this one to me, and I love it. And it goes very well with my engagement ring and just my whole love of blue and silver. Okay, so those are my finished objects, and I'm pretty pleased with them. So, works in progress. I have 2 works in progress at the moment. Sip of tea. So good. My first work in progress are my socks that are in my little project bag. I already finished the first, have you seen that? And I have passed the heel on the second one. So it looks like a little balaclava right now. And yeah, I always get stuck on heels. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's the purling. I really don't like purling. But so I'm using the heel by Inga from the Knitting Traditions, from her pattern Rustic cable socks, which I really enjoy. The only thing I changed is that I have a garter, don't know if you can see, like a garter stitch, bump stitch situation at the side, so it's easy to pick up stitches. Her pattern does it differently, but that's fine, but I prefer this one. So I'm round the bend, so to speak, and from now on I just have to do a couple decreases and knit, and then it's done. I really enjoy knitting on these long circulars. They're Chaogu 2.25, and especially when you've gone round the bend, I have this like 3-way situation going on. It looks a little bit like a uterus with like, isn't that funny? But yeah, I really like the 3-way situation. That sounds weird, but it's a triangle. That's what I'm trying to say, and I like knitting round like that, especially for the decreases. And yeah, so that's work in progress number 1. This is a really good waiting room knit. As you might know, I spend a lot of time in waiting rooms because twice a week I go to light therapy in the hospital, and like the waiting room bit takes longer than the light therapy bit. So it's really nice to have something easy to knit on that you can just stuff in your pocket the moment you're called. Alright, my other work in progress you have also seen before. And it's a Vintersol sweater by Jennifer Steingass. Funny fact, I used to say Jennifer Steinglass until I had to look her name up for the video. And it turned out I had been saying it wrong for 2 years. Let me carefully get it out. The Vintersol sweater, last time you saw it, I had only just begun. And right now, I am, hold on, let me show this properly without losing stitches. I really have to find a better setup. Look at it. Oh, yeah, so I have, as you might know, it's a top-down hybrid. So you start just like you start here and then you work up, and then you pick up the stitches and you knit down, which worked really, really well. It's how do you call this edge? It's the first time I've done this, and I already forgot the name. Let me just look it up. Yes, it's a 2-stitch applied I-cord bind off, which is the first time I have done that. And it gives really good instructions. The only thing is that I think I might have done it too tightly, because like there's more fabric than there's room for right now. But I think I'm going to leave it like this because it might relax a bit after soaking and blocking, and I'd rather have it be a little bit too tight than too loose. It fits over my head fine, even with all the hair. So it might just be fine, and otherwise I'll unravel it and knit it again. Yeah, so I've just gone past the decreases, and I am doing like the waist shaping, but the pattern gives you, for the waist shaping, you decrease several stitches, and then you decrease several stitches, and then you knit a bit straight, and then you increase more than you decreased. And that I'm not going to do because my body shape, like my hips are really small compared to my bust. So if I increase more, there's nothing there around my hips, at least. So I think I'll just decrease straight and increase to the original like bust circumference of the sweater. I really like the pattern. The color work is charted, which is great to work on, and it's really nice to work from. The only thing is that this is the second Jennifer Steingass sweater I made. The first one was a Drema or Draima. Are there more ways of saying Drema? There probably will be. The Drema sweater, and that one really walks you through the German short rows, which I've never done any other short rows, but I really like German short rows because it's quite easy. But this pattern just says short rows and then knit to the end, turn your work and knit back, but it doesn't explain, like it just tells you to use your preferred kind of bind off, or not bind off, short rows. So you really have to look up yourself what a short row is and how to do it. So if you're if this is your first sweater or your first time doing short rows, I definitely recommend looking that up, because otherwise you might make mistakes, which is also of course fine. But yeah, I'm really really happy with it. I don't think I will finish it before the cold weather leaves, but that's fine. And my husband even said that he really likes this pattern, and maybe the next sweater I knit him can be like this one. And I do think that I would knit this again, even in the same wool, because it is knit in Knitting for Olive fine merino. The fingering weights. The only thing I would do for my husband's sweater is knit it in the DK merino from Knitting for Olive, because I have noticed that because I'm holding this double, I really have to pay attention. I cannot knit without watching, because then I sometimes only pick up one of the threads instead of the whole thing. So that's my only thing that I would do differently next time. And it's going really quickly, and I'm really happy with it. Alright. So this is Future Nora. I just realized while I was cuddling with my cat that I completely forgot to mention how I'm getting on with the stranded color work in the Vintersol pattern. I think it was just that I kind of my hands forgot how it worked, but I ended up doing all the color work with contrast color in my left. So that was the darker color, and then just throwing with my right, but I had the yarn tensioned around my middle finger, and I was kind of just whipping it around like that, and that worked really well, I have to say. I really got into like holding it with my left and then throwing it, and it was working pretty well. So that was my update on the stranded colorwork situation. Last time I talked about that I want to learn more about knitting history and like construction history, for example, of sweaters. And there were several people with some recommendations. For instance, I wrote it down. On YouTube, the channel of Roxanne Richardson, she does a lot with knitting history, and somebody recommended the book, A History of Hand Knitting by Richard Rutt. But that book and some other books I saw as well, they're quite hard to get, and even like secondhand are 60 or 70 American dollars, and then I would have to get it to the Netherlands, which would turn out a little bit too expensive for me. And I couldn't find any books of it, so that's a shame. But what I would really want, and I don't know if this is the case for A History of Hand Knitting, but I really enjoy like popular science books. And I really like the books that Clara Parks writes, and I found some books by her. The Vanishing Fleece, I believe, which is about wool, but it's really USA based, which is interesting, but I would either want to learn about the Netherlands or about the world in general, because I'm Dutch. And then I also found the book This Golden Fleece by Esther Rutter, which is UK based, or at least it's talking about Britain. I'm not quite sure if it's also about Scotland and Ireland, which seems really interesting, but it's not about the world, and it's not really about like knitting. What I did find, which ticked some of the boxes, is A Short History of the World According to Sheep, which is written by Sally, and I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this, Sally Coulthard? Sally I will put it down here, you can read it here. And I actually found that I have a subscription to the Storytel app, which is a platform for audiobooks, and they have now also started providing ebooks. And I actually found it on there as an audiobook and an ebook, and currently I'm listening to it. I do think I highly recommend this book, but it's probably better to read it than to listen to it, because sometimes the information is quite dense and it's not as easy to I like scribbling in books or highlighting stuff, and with an audiobook that's not that easy. But it's really interesting, and it's narrated by a lovely woman, which is nice to listen to, which is crucial for audiobooks, because even if it's a good book, if you don't vibe with the narrator, it's just not gonna work. But so yeah, I first was going to order this book, but then I thought, well, I already paid a subscription for Storytel, so I might as well just listen to it there, and then I might decide to get the book after all, but then I'll be fully informed on what I'm getting. So yeah, A Short History of the World According to Sheep. It really takes the popular science box. There are some chapters concerning knitting, but it's so interesting to hear about, basically, without sheep, the world would not look as it does today. And it goes back to the Scythians. It's It's tremendously well researched. It's interesting. She uses anecdotes and quotes, but it's still nice to read or listen to in my case. It's not dry material. So it's, yeah, highly recommend this one. The next book I'm probably going to read is called The Golden Thread, How Fabrics Changed History, written by Cassia St. Clair. And I downloaded like a preview on my Kindle and I read the first couple pages and it also looks very interesting, but that's more textile based. Of course, wool can be turned into textile, but wool and sheep have so many more functions than just providing textiles. So yeah, that is my little foray, that word. Basically all of English and braces are not the combination you want. But that is my little dive into like knitting history. So really I took one step back and started with sheep, and then I will work my way up to knitting, hopefully. I also got some lovely recommendations on a Ganzi history book and one that I would really like to read. It's a German book called Zwei rechts ein links, I believe, or the other way around. But it's not in English. And even though my grandmother is German and I took German in school as a subject, even graduated on it, I have to say that my German is not up to par to reading like a book on knitting. Like I can read like children books and I can order stuff in German, but I cannot read a knitting book on German. Which might be a good challenge, but I'm not ready for that particular challenge. So yeah, but if you have any more tips on knitting history on the world for like a book form that is affordable, or maybe just a specialized book on sweater construction, because that is what got me started, I would love to hear. Finally, I don't have any new acquisitions because I'm trying to spend less, especially with the world as it is. I can do with less. I have a whole studio full of fabrics and yarn and plants and materials to work with and keep myself happy with, luckily. But I did order some yarn. Studio Solas, which is my favorite natural dyeing shop in the Netherlands. She was having a sale, a St. Patty's sale, 20% off on all her green yarns. But I think by the time I upload this, it's probably over. And I wasn't gonna order anything until I did. The original plan was in 2 weeks she is opening, we're not opening, you can buy her Advent box, which I really enjoyed last year. So I'm going to try and get, sorry, after sneeze. Not really sneeze, my nose is just hurting. You ever get that before a sneeze where your whole nose just kind of Okay. Advent calendars. Yeah, so her theme is, what is it? Natural dyes and eco printing, which is just right up my alley. So I'm gonna try and order that for December, because last year I bought one in February and it just gave me joy throughout the year, because I kept forgetting that I got it and then remembering, and like the whole back and forth, which was really great. So I'm gonna try and get one this year too. It opens on April 1st. How's it like end of March already? It's crazy. But yeah, so all that to say that I was only going to order that, and then I saw the sale, and a couple times like I loaded my shopping basket, but then I deleted it because it was like, no, I'm not gonna buy anything. But then I saw this particular, I keep knocking this over. I saw this particular, of course it was a green, but it was like a deep pine green, but it was only one skein left of 50 grams, and that was just not enough to justify like ordering something. But then I saw another green in the Merino DK, in which I knit the little twigs sweater that you saw last week, and I so enjoyed working with that yarn. And it was in a beautiful green that I think will really complement my eyes and my now darker hair. So I ordered a sweater's quantity of that. And then I also saw this, what was it? Blueface Leicester? I'm never sure how to say that. I'm mostly sure that it's Leicester and not like Leicester. But with these English names, I'm never sure. But I think it's called Blueface Leicester, in a lovely like sky blue. And then I also got 2 skeins of the blue, and I think 1 skein in sage green. And either I'm gonna make a baby knit or a toddler knit for my nephew, or I might make myself something. But it was just so pretty, so I caved and I ordered yarn. Even though I haven't finished anything, but sometimes you just need to treat yourself, I think, and enjoy the fact that you can spend money on things that make you happy. Yeah. So that's basically it for today. If you have any tips on the knitting history, please leave me a comment. Also, if you would be willing to take the time to share your thoughts on, I don't know, numbers and what they mean on YouTube and social media, I don't know, it would be lovely to have a little chat about it, because I love making episodes, but I don't like the way I've been feeling about these numbers. Like, I don't like giving meaning to numbers. I don't want to feel bad if somebody decides, oh, this content is not for me, I'm going to unsubscribe, because that's perfectly fine. And, you know, that's up to that person. But I don't want that to make me feel bad about me or what I do. Any tips on that would be great. It's one of the reasons I don't really like do anything with Instagram, because Instagram is very like hashtag dependent, and I don't know, the statistics, they're fun and they're great until they're not. And I need to get away from the not bit and just don't worry, be happy, all that kind of stuff. So any tips on that would be great, or any thoughts on that. Yeah, I don't know, it's strange. All right, I'm gonna let you go. And I'll hopefully see you in a couple weeks when maybe my sweater is finished. I have some exciting new plans for after the sweater. I already have the yarn that you've already seen. Have a lovely couple weeks. Do something that makes you happy. Take some time for yourself. Maybe play some make-believe games like Dungeons and Dragons. It's great. It's great to let off some tension, pretend to be somebody else. It makes me so happy. Like knitting. Alright, I'm going to let you go. See you in 2 weeks. Take care. Oh, it's not yet cold.